couple of years ago we bought a canal boat. Most of you know us for our van life travels all across the UK and Europe, but a couple of years ago we bought this canal boat on a whim. I came back one day and Emma said, should we buy a canal boat? And I went yes, and before we knew it we'd bought one and we knew nothing about them. We're going to bring you up to speed on that story, what's happening with the boat and what's going to be happening next. So it's been a few months since we're sort of down on the boat doing any work. Some of you might not even realise we even own a canal boat. It's been that long. We're going to explain everything in this vlog.
About 2 years ago, part of our kind of plan, if you like, trying to get out of the rat race, was to think about what alternative stuff we could do. And we came up with absolutely all sorts of stuff, from setting up campsites to living off grid in a caravan somewhere, all sorts of different ideas. And then one day it just occurred to me, well, what about a canal boat? You know, you can stay on it, it's an alternative way of living, you could run a business off it. And it sprung from an idea. We'd been walking on the canal one day and we'd come across this guy who was selling sweets outside his canal boat. And he had all these sweets lined up on the side at Canal Boat, and we had a chat with him, and he were making an absolute fortune selling sweets to kids as they were walking past. And he'd given up his like really executive job and everything, and him and his wife were just living on board this boat. It was like a proper houseboat, and they were selling sweets. So that's where the original idea came from. And then I said to Reese one day, what about buying a canal boat? What do you think about buying a canal boat? It was just like a random kind of off-the-cuff comment, I suppose. So off we started looking for a canal boat to buy.
So me being me, obviously, I went, yeah, let's do it. So we needed to find a boat. We decided to turn it into a business and a pirate ship. So that was kind of the idea. We needed to find a boat that would be open on the front, but that we could live in on the back. So this is an old coal boat. It's an actual replica of an old coal boat built in 1980s, I think. And so we went to see it, and guy showed us around. We went, yeah, we'll take it, we'll buy it.
So because the idea of this was basically to keep the canal boat moving, there's loads of rules around kind of working on a canal boat, living on a canal boat, in terms of what fees you pay to the Canal and River Trust and all sorts. So we worked it out. The best way to do this was to be a constantly moving boat. That way you didn't have to apply for any kind of like planning permissions to basically locate your business in one spot. And round that basically meant that you have to move every 2 weeks because you're a constant cruiser, but then you can't sort of trade in one area for more than 4 weeks a year. So the plan was going to be to move it every 2 weeks for 6 months and then turn it around and come back and do the same route coming back. So we wanted it to be something that when we came in to like dock, if you like, to moor up, that you'd be able to hear us coming, you know. So we got a boat that had the old traditional engine, so it's got the smoke that comes out of the top. It's got a fabulous sounding kind of what I call a chugger engine, so that people would hear us coming. You could even maybe start it going while you're parked up, so where you're moored up, so you could get all the smoke coming out the top and stuff, and play kind of like music and stuff so that people would know where we were and people would come and they'd come to trade. So for those of you that don't know and haven't been watching us that long, you may not, or even if you have, you might not have heard us mention that we've had loads of ideas, done loads of different jobs over the years, especially Reese. Like the stuff he's done is just bizarre and unbelievable all at the same time. And Reese used to do like Jack Sparrow lookalike stuff. So we decided that that was basically going to be the future for this boat. We were going to turn a barge into a pirate ship. I don't think it's ever been done. We've never seen it anywhere else. And we were going to sell sweets off here for the kids and going to kind of have our own merchandise selling off here, maybe hold stag do's, hen do's, that type of thing. And there's a lot of money to be made in this sort of a business. So we put all the business proposal together, put it into the Canal and River Trust, got it accepted, which was only like last year, and that was fantastic because that was a big hurdle to get over in the first place. Made sure that we'd got as much work done on this as we could. There were a lot to do. When we first got the boat, like Reese says, it was an old coal boat, so the sides on it were kind of like a pitch roof. And we got all that taken off. We paid thousands to have like a brand new steel roof put on it, so that you can stand up in it, you can walk around in it. It's actually a really, really big space on the front of it. The back of it is a traditional old boatsman's cabin where the cupboards kind of fold down, create a double bed, You've got, everything does something else, you know, you've got a fold down table, but it's a small space, but it'd be a comfortable space to be able to sort of stay in if you want to stay on there a few days. So we also thought it'd be really good as like an Airbnb as well, a really alternative kind of Airbnb place to stay. People could then come onto the front, you know, have a few drinks, that type of thing. So there were lots of different kind of things that we've got in mind that this could be. And we've worked so hard to get it to where it is today. We've put so much effort in and done so much with it. So let's start by showing you around. It's a bit messy because it's still a work in progress, but let's start by showing you around and showing you what we've done. The first bit that we did was to clad the sides of the boat out. And underneath all of this, bearing in mind, there's been a lot of work that's gone in behind all of what you can see. So the whole of the boat has been kind of any rust that was there taken off it. It's been treated with a rust treatment. So it's in. We wanted it to be in top-notch condition behind the scenes, if you like. So everything, literally underneath every cupboard, even in the back of the boat, absolutely everything, to my peril in trying to do that, has been done. But it's all been rust treated. It's all been sanded back. It's all in really good condition underneath, if you like. So the first thing that we did, like I say, clad out the sides of it, make it look like the inside of a wooden ship. That is not easy to do on a canal barge. But I think we did all right with it. I think we did okay. And then we built up this platform here, which has got a lot of storage underneath. So this middle bit here lifts up, and there's a lot of storage under there. So again, you can kind of store stock under there. We were always kind of trying to think about what we were going to do, where we were going to have storage. There's two lift up little hatches here as well, so you can easily get to your stuff under that bit as well if you want to. We purchased a proper pirate's wheel to put on the front, which turns so that the kids can kind of come on and play with it and stuff like that. And then we just started buying little bits so that we could put like a skeleton in one of these. So spray it black, put a skeleton in there, and then it'll look a little bit quirky, a little bit scary. Put some of these big sort of old-fashioned light fittings up there. Again, to kind of give it that pirate ship feel to it, you know. Because there's a possibility with this as well that it could have had like dining tables in, and you could have done, you know, kind of like pirate meals on here and that type of thing. You'd probably get about 5-6 covers in here. So that was one of the other thoughts we'd had around it as well, in kind of making it so that we could have that mood light in and that sort of thing. And especially if we were going to do stag do's, hen do's, be able to give it an atmosphere on the night time. And then we started building a bench seat, which has changed about 4 times now. So this still needs finishing off, but again, that's going to be loads of storage in the bottom of there for all the stock. I will be able to sort of clad it all out, but have like opening top on it so that you can get inside and get to everything that you need. We bought 2 massive barrels to go in here, which was a big mistake. They're too big, they take up way too much room, so they're going to be gone. We then got one of these. So these are old electrical drums that you buy. Got like electrical cables on them. And then we cut it down, because they're absolutely massive when you get them. Wrapped rope around it, chains around it, so that this looks like, you know, the thing when they used to pull the anchor up from outside. So that was the idea behind this, to kind of give it that real pirate feel. And then for the top of it, which hasn't been put on yet, there is the cross. I don't know what you call them, where you put where the flags go on. So there's a kind of cross beam for the flag to go on, which will collapse down and then come back up, so that again you can still get under all your canal bridges, that type of thing. And you can have your pirate flag, sort of, you know, your sails, if you like, flying when you're moored up, so that again people can see you. We've got behind here, which you can't really see very well, but we've got a guillotine. So the idea behind that was to put that out onto the side of the canal, so that you can advertise your opening times, your charges, that type of thing. And obviously you could have people coming on here, you could take them for a sail up and down the canal, charging per trip. You know, a lot of them around here kind of charge between £5 and £15 per trip per person, and they do like a 20-minute there and back journey with them. So the idea was, if we were going to do that, to sort of have this outside advertising it, this big guillotine thing, which again, just a bit of a novelty. And then having a counter here so that people could come, get served. And these bits are all blocked off here so that we can put baskets on there with different things that people can buy. We can have these kind of things hanging down from the top with different things in that people can buy, so that it would be just filled with kind of all sorts of mysterious, magical, different things. And then have some shelving put up on here with loads of sweets, all under here with sweets, so that we can sell way out sweets, sell sweets to kids and what have you when they're coming on, and they can enjoy it and be a part of it. This little bit here, which isn't, again, quite finished off yet, the idea is to cover this piece of wood here with some fabric, and we've got some big metal letters that say tarot to go over there, so that this could become a little private tarot room in the back here. The idea behind that really was that Reese does tarot reading, and there is nobody, certainly around here, and from what I can see for quite a lot of miles around, that does tarot reading on a canal, and yet it's the perfect place to do tarot reading. You know, you can charge like £40 a reading, and people can come on, have the tarot cards read. You know, again, it's a good kind of little earner. So we'd got all of this stuff in mind.
So that was the plan. And then things changed a little bit.
I don't even know what to say. It's just...
I don't know what to say. It's when we bought it, it was just one of those whim things, right? Which sounds ridiculous, but we were like, it made sense on paper. How difficult can it be to learn to sail a canal boat? How difficult can it be to do, you know, a transformation?
And none of that is going to be, none of that is difficult, is it? That is all stuff that we can do, and we could still do, and, you know, make a really good business out of this. And we've hung on and hung on because we know that this boat is going to make a lot of money. You know, we know that. We know it's going to bring in a lot of money. It's going to bring in a regular income. You know, imagine it kind of in the summer when there's loads of kids on canal and it's really busy. And then imagine in winter when you trim it all up with fairy lights and, you know, get a Santa Claus on or whatever. It's going to make a lot of money as a business. And what I wanted to do was to kind of have this as a little bit of a project where we'd run it for maybe like 5 years, and then we'd look at selling it as an ongoing business. But unfortunately, basically my illness has been getting worse for the past year, especially, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously I'm the only person that does DIY. And I'm really struggling. I can't stretch myself. I'm not even thinking about if this is done, if we've got loads of people down and we got it done. I don't know how I'm going to be able to manage with the locks, with doing if I'm even the one sailing the boat and you're doing the locks. It's still hard work on my own. I can't do my bit that I would need to do.
Because it needs two of you to do that, ideally.
Reese can do his bit, you could do it, but I can't do my bit.
You need two people to...
And you've got to have some strength behind you to do something, haven't you?
Yeah, the locks can be difficult, you know, so it's kind of all those things. It's parking Romany up, sailing off, and then having to get back to Romany. And I've thought about all different things. I could get a kayak, right? I could get a bicycle. But imagine that. Imagine constantly being back and forth. And again, it's just obstacles, isn't it?
It's just, I think the fact that for me, there's lots of little things that we could get over. There's little obstacles that we can get over.
Yeah.
They're not big issues to me. They might be to you, but they're not big issues to me. I don't think none of those little things matter. I think anybody that has a boat and runs a business off it is going to be doing all of those little bits, and they find ways around it. I think you've had a bit of a fear of kind of sailing it in the first place, haven't you? Which we would have got over and again got past. The reason that this is now a pivotal moment is purely and utterly down to my health. Yeah. That's what this is. It's a pivotal moment where we've got to make some decisions, and we've got to make some really hard decisions. I'm currently undergoing some tests for possible MS. They believe that I've been misdiagnosed over the years because I've been given about 7 different diagnoses over the years. And it's now believed that actually everything that I struggle with and suffer with is probably due to MS, and so I'm now going in and waiting tests on that. As you know, at the moment, long waiting list for everything. But basically, that's what I'm doing.
And with that comes, this is just too big of a project now, isn't it?
It's too big of a project.
Too big of a project.
What we are going to do is we are going to spruce it up, get some stuff finished off that needs to be finished off. So we're going to get it to a point where somebody can come on and say, yeah, I can run it as a business as it is. Bear in mind, we've bought loads of little bits for this. There's all sorts of little bits stuffed away in boxes and treasure chests and all sorts. You know, we've got like tons and tons of like brass treasure, haven't we, and stuff, all to
it
go
would
in
look
like a,
epic when it's finished.
a big, you know, treasure chest and have it all coming out and all that. You know, we've done, because we're quite creative people, we've thought about literally everything that this needs, and it's all there ready. We're not going to be able to get all of that stuff sorted out because, again, that defeats the point of us stepping back from it, really. But we can get it to a point where the bench seat is finished off and it's cleaned out, and we're going to give it another lick of paint again on the outside, although it's not even been that long since it's had that done.
No,
we're going to
but
give
we'll
it
do
a
it another
freshen
one.
up, spruce it up, and just give it a good sort of clean and everything else so it's ready. It's been out of the water for quite some time now, for probably about 1.5 years, so it's not really had any weathering or wear and tear on it or anything like that, because it's just been sat out of the water for us to work on it.
And it's a solid boat. Like, that's why we bought this boat, because it's a solid.
It is solid.
boat.
It'll last. You know, it's 1979 replica. And really, you know, somebody can pick this up. I've seen it done where people actually encase the front of it and make this into an additional living space. Obviously, it's very big then. That'd break me out if that happened, but it could happen. But it's, you know, whoever it goes to, I'd like preferably to go to somebody who is going to make this into the business that it was meant to be, who is going to make a really good, decent living out of it. Somebody, even if it's like a single person who could live on the back of it, because you could live on the back of it if you were on your own.
Yeah, I'll show you the back in a
Yeah,
minute.
you could live on it as a couple if you wanted, but it would be easier if you were living on it on your own.
So
But
I think the way we're
yeah.
talking, it's pretty obvious we've decided
got
to
to
sell.
sell.
We're going to sell. We don't have much option, really, especially with the van life stuff going off. You've got to remember that when we bought the boat, we hadn't started the YouTube channel yet, right? And so the van life side of YouTube kind of took us off down that way. As you know, we're selling Romany, selling everything. We're selling Romany to buy another van, a bigger van, because we need the space.
And that'd help with that. This would help with that as well, wouldn't it? This would help us to get the van that we really want to get. And you know.
Yeah, it's kind of where our lives have taken us since buying the boat. You know, it has gone in a bit of a different direction. We're going to get a van. Imagine trying to pull this to its full potential and do up a van. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. And everything you do on a boat, when you're doing a boat up, you know, isn't easy, you know, because we're on a canal. So in order to get rid of, we've got a lot of wood there that needs to go back, that needs carrying back to Romany and then disposing of appropriately. So, you know, there's all them things to...
Yeah, I just can't do it.
Think about that Emma just can't do, you know.
And there are some bits that need, so there's obviously where it is at the moment is in Gallows Bridge. These guys here, we cannot rate them enough.
Absolutely
if ever you need your boat fixing, outdoing on your boat, your canal boat, bring it here, because these guys are absolutely amazingly supportive. They're fantastic. They've already agreed to do the metal shutters on the outside of the boat to make it so, because obviously, you know, we've kind of put some weathered, worn and torn black curtains on. The waterproof curtains, but we've put these on weathered and worn and torn, because the whole point is for it to look like an old pirate ship. It doesn't look like that if it's got brand new canvassing all over it. So we've kind of really weathered them and made them look old, and so that it keeps that look for it. But that isn't great for it being kind of, it's all right for it being watertight if it's just raining or a bit windy, but if you're getting any really bad weather, it's not great for that. So the guys here have agreed to do the metal shutters to go on the outside of it, which would all slide back, so you could keep them closed or you could slide them back. They'd look great, which the plan was, wasn't it, to kind of cut out some window shapes out of those and have those kind of arch windows that come out of them that make it look like a proper outside of a pirate's cabin type thing.
And that's kind of been the next step, basically. We've been waiting for them to kind of finish that up before we kind of carried on with the interior, really. So that's kind of where it's at.
And they're going to do the steps for us as well.
They're going to do
there'll
the
be
steps.
some movable inside steps for you to get into because obviously it's hard at the moment to climb in and out of this thing because it's not next to the canal side. So it's normally it'd be underwater, wouldn't it? Part of the boat's underwater, so it's easier to get in and out. But you need to have some steps on the inside, so they're going to build the movable steel steps that can go to either side of the boat. So when you moor it up, it's easy for people to get on and off of. So everything is ready for people, whoever wants to be able to buy this and take it on as still a bit of a project, still needs a bit of work. We're not kind of lying about that. There is a bit of work to still be done on it, but it would be very quickly, very easily onto the water and running as a business, really, with somebody that's got a bit more strength about them to get the stuff done that needs to be done. So if you are interested in it, like we said with Romany, send us a message. We'll get back to you. We're sort of putting the price up front on here so that people know what they're looking at. They're not contacting us without having any clue what they're looking at. The guys here as well would lift it and put it back onto the water, which is also, you know, a great thing, because a lot of the time that's a bit of a problem, getting people that can come out and do that, you know, for you and lift it. And obviously it could be transported from here and lifted onto the back of a transport truck that you can arrange, and that would be at the person's cost who buys it, and they would lift it on and put it onto the back of that transport truck, which is what we had happen when it came up here. This is Daisy's favourite place to actually sit on top of here when we come in. I usually bring her a little cushion, but she's just chilling out on top of there, relaxing. I am absolutely gutted, and I have been the one that has really kind of held on to this, but Reese has suggested that we needed to sell it quite a while ago when I started struggling, but I have really held on to it because I just know the potential in it, and I really don't want to sell. But at some points in life, you have to face what life is bringing you. You have to face those challenges, and you have to face them with a smile and see it as a potential opening for something that's going to be new. You know, this is going to be amazing for the next person that gets it, and I'll be absolutely chuffed to bits to actually be able to go and see it working as a working business on the canal one day, and go and visit it and vlog it and show people what somebody's made it into. Would be amazing. So I'm kind of trying to view it with a really happy thing of, she needs to go on to her next journey. You know, Pirates del Corte, which is what she's called. Pirates on the cut of the cut, it means. And she needs to go on to her next journey and do something. She needs to be on the water. She needs to be working. And so I'm looking at it from that positive point of view. And who knows what doors it's going to open up for us when we're not feeling kind of tied to having to sort this out as well, and to having to get it going. And, you know, it's going to be, there'll be a new chapter around the corner for us. There always isn't. There's always a new chapter waiting around the corner. But I am absolutely gutted on a whole other level. But anyway, I'm going to get Reese now to show you around the back of the boat, which is the old traditional boatsman's cabin, which we've kept original. We haven't changed it. And so I'm going to get him to show you that now as well.
So I'm going to get in this way if I can. I'm gonna fall here. This is the engine room. So this is, we're now in the back cab, so this is all done in a traditional kind of boatsman's cabin look. There's kind of stuff everywhere at the minute, so you'll have to excuse the mess, but you've got all the original artwork, all the canal original artwork, little wooden stove up there, that goes out obviously onto the deck area, and it's just really quirky. But I'm going to be totally honest with you, I'm kind of pleased in a way that we've come to this decision. It's not been an easy decision. It has kind of been a recent decision, because we were just like, no, let's keep going, waiting for things, like waiting for the business proposal to come through. As you know, if you've watched us, we've mentioned it, it's been really difficult waiting for other people to do bits. You know, you might need a part or something that you're then waiting for. So it's been a lot of waiting, which is what's been the delay. I think I don't even know how long it is since we filmed the boat. A year, 6 months, a year, something like that. And it's been all this different waiting game, trying to get down to the boat to do a little bit at a time. And it's just, yeah, it's a shame. It's a real shame. And I'm absolutely gutted as well. I really am, because it could have been epic. I mean, you know, when you look around at this little cabin, it's just amazing. It's epic. And to be out on the water, you know, sailing the canals would have been absolutely great. And I'm sure a lot of you are absolutely gutted, and we can only apologise for that. You know, it's our lives and it's real life, you know, and so these things just happen. And I hope if you subscribe because of the boat, that you'll stay with us. You know, I understand a lot of people probably won't, and that's a shame, but you know, that's okay, because a lot of people subscribed when we got the boat. A lot of people wanted to see us, you know, have that final moment where we sailed it, and nobody, you know, wanted that more than me and Emma. Like, we really, really did want that moment where we finally got it on the water, and it's just not kind of you know, I'm not the best at DIY. I can get by, but for various reasons, I'm not the best at DIY. Emma's definitely the DIY person. And so, you know, while I can lift things and kind of do all that kind of stuff, I can't do what it takes to get this project finished. And I think Emma's making the right decision. I think she's making the right decision for her health. And, you know, the boat just adds another thing for her to have to do another project. And yeah, with the van kind of the new van build coming up, it's just going to be too much. But this is, you know, so it's really sad. And, you know, it will be sad that we never kind of got to sail her really. And like Emma says, I hope somebody will, you know, enjoy her. So I guess the idea of this vlog was just to update everybody with where we were at with the boat, and obviously a bit of a shock decision in there as well. So many of you kind of email us, message us, comment, what about the boat, what about the boat? So I guess now now we know as well, now that we've kind of decided.
Feels a bit sad, doesn't it, really? I feel like it's kind of like end of an era. It was only a couple of years ago that we were watching her being lowered into water and full of excitement and all the things that we were going to do and all the opportunity it was going to give us. And life's just kind of taken a different turn, I suppose, hasn't it? It's just taken a different path.
I think they're having an argument. Having a right argument.
I'm kind of always one of them people though that I don't give in. Like, I have to keep going, I have to keep moving. And Reese will always be like, oh, you're doing too much and you need to be careful what you're doing. But I like to live life to the full, do you know what I mean? Like, to really live it to the full. And we've had this kind of plan for this boat and what it was going to bring us, what it was going to do for us. And I just wasn't giving up on it. There was no way I was giving up on it. But with my health kind of just really taking a bit of a turn, life's thrown a new challenge, it's thrown a bit of a spanner in the works, but it's time for somebody else to enjoy her now. You know, we can't meet that commitment, but she's not far off being finished, and it's time for somebody else to enjoy her, somebody else to have fun on her, get her on the water, doing what she's meant to be doing. And who knows what opportunities that's going to open up for us as well, because we're not going to be racing back to kind of check on the boat, do work on the boat, every single bit of opportunity we've got. It's a new opportunity, it's a new start. You've got to be positive about this stuff, haven't you, and think it's a new start, but it is a bit sad.
So the boat's going to be sold for £25,000, tell you that up front in case anybody's interested. We're not even breaking even with that. I think we paid £28,000 for her, so we're not even breaking even at that kind of price. But it is what it is, you know, it's time for her to go to somebody new, and we're kind of happy to just break below even basically with her.
We are going to lose a bit on her, but I think that it's one of those things where you've got to be realistic about the fact there is a bit of work to still be done on her. And so were we selling her as a kind of traditional co-boat, she would have gone for more, because obviously it would have been finished, done and ready. Whereas this, we know we've got work to do on her.
She's a solid boat, she's a good boat. So that's the decision that we've come to. It allows us as well to go and explore other countries, you know, apart from France, Spain and Portugal. We couldn't have possibly done that if we'd have had a canal boat kind of tying us to the UK. So I guess that's the positive with it really, is that we won't have too many things to worry about. Obviously running the cottage, travelling around in Romany, our camper van, and a canal boat.
At a time when we didn't know where we were going to be and what we were going to do, and we threw everything in, let's see what works.
So where are we at with selling Romany? Well, we emptied a load of stuff out, our personal belongings and things like that we didn't need with us, kind of on the road, stuff we've accumulated. We had 2 days to kind of get in and out of the cottage before some new guests arrived, so we managed to get stuff out, put them in the loft. So that's kind of where we've been with Romany. She's about to go for a full kind of valet clean, that kind of thing now. So we're getting close. So before we list her, we just want it to be absolutely perfect.
So new adventures, new things on the horizon. It's time to get excited now about it. New van coming, new travels coming, new places. Who knows what opportunities are going to come up in front of us now going forward.
So we're going to head back to Romany now and go find a park up for tonight, because it's getting towards tea time. So we're going to go find a park up. And so again, just I don't know how else to say it other than we can only apologise for everybody who's been waiting for us to get the canal boat on the water, for everybody that's been excited. As I said before, nobody's been more excited about that than Emma and I. It's just a decision we've had to make.
And it's a decision that we have literally come to this morning, isn't it? We've been umming and ahhing and going backwards and forwards over this for
weeks
and weeks, and then
trying
this
to
morning,
get it to that end, waiting for other people to do their bit and
it
that
was
kind
just
of
like,
thing.
no, that's it now. We have to draw a line under it, and we have to look at a new. It just came to us, didn't it? And I think when that feeling just comes to you, and you feel,
we just knew, both of us, like we just knew. As I say, it's been a hard decision, but when we arrived this morning,
that's it. Well, literally,
we were just like, we can't do this, we can't keep doing it.
I just hadn't got the energy, so it kind of all came together, I think, as soon as we got on, and it felt like the right thing for her to move on to somebody else, didn't it?
It feels like a weight's been lifted now that we've made that decision.
Yeah.
So join us next Tuesday to see how what's becoming a crazy story at the moment.
We're becoming
of
like
changing
a sales pitch thing.
Yeah, just a sales pitch.
Yeah. We're just like kind of like a garage for selling vans and boats.
It'll be a bicycle next week. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. and don't forget to always write your own story.